Hello my night wolves and welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're here with another video where I'm just sitting and talking, and today is another storytelling video. These are going to be the trips that I went on. I went to New York City not once but twice, and I also went to Philly, also known as Philadelphia. The first time I went with my mom. We went to go see Dan and Phil because they were on tour at the time, and I did like a vlogish kind of video about it. So yeah, up here up in this corner a card will pop up, and I was super excited, so I did kind of like a vlog kind of situation from when I went down to New York. And we didn't know that you are not supposed to. You can if you want to. Yeah, I recommend not driving through New York City because we didn't know that. Drove through New York and it was an absolute disaster. We were almost hit so many times. It was freaking crazy. My mom freaks out when we go over bridges, so you have to go over a bridge to get into New York, and she was freaking out while we were going across it, and I think I sneaked recorded her freaking out because she hates going over bridges. And we thought it was gonna be like a simple trip, go there, see Dan and Phil, and then come home. But like, I don't know what was going on with me and my mom, but we both ended up having like, I don't know, bladder infections or something because we constantly had to freaking pee. It was like the worst. Like when we were going down, we had no problems using the bathroom, but the moment we got into New York City, it's like the bladder infection attacked us or something. We went in, we saw Dan and Phil, we had a great time and whatnot, and then we both had to go to the bathroom, but there were so many people, and it was hard to get out of the place, and I legitly was almost like trampled because there were so many people and they were so excited. And of course I was so mad. I think I went over this in the video because Dan and Phil made a fucking appearance on the stairs that were in the freaking when you first walk in, and I was so pissed off. But me, I had to pee, my mom had to pee, we just both had to pee super badly, and there was no way we were going to make it to the bathroom because there were so many freaking people, and I was like legitly being pushed over, and I'm already off balance. So we just made our way to the door and exit and left. And then while we were leaving, we heard like people screaming, and then I went on Twitter. Somebody posted on Twitter that they fucking made an appearance. There's like these stairs you can go up, but they had like security, so you can't obviously go up the stairs. So that you go up these stairs, and then there's like this ledge bit. So they were on that ledge bit, and they came out and they waved to their fans and stuff like that and talked, and I fucking missed it, and I was pissed. I was pissed off at myself, and I was pissed off at my bladder. I'm like, why did I have to fucking pee? Why did I have to freaking pee? I was just like, why couldn't I just not have to pee at that moment? Like, I could have seen Dan and Phil, even though it wasn't like face to face. At least it was like kind of close. But yeah, I don't know, it was so weird. We both had to pee super badly, and then we were trying to find a place to go to the bathroom, and we finally did. We finally found a place to use the bathroom because some places down in New York are like, you can't use the bathroom unless you buy something, which is like, I'm not gonna buy something just to use a freaking bathroom. So on our way home, we were going back over the bridge, a bridge that we took to go in. We were on our way out, and it at the time was downpouring. It started to rain, and New York is on a island. It got really foggy. So, and we were using a GPS to bring us home. It was downpouring. The fog was thick. Like, it was so thick that you could not see in front of you. It was that thick. So we almost rear-ended a few people because they're driving slowly because of the fog. The GPS was telling us where to go, when to turn, and so on and so forth. And we completely missed our exit. It told us to keep going straight, so we kept going straight, and then it's like, oh, go this way, and then it took us on a whole bunch of freaking back roads. It took us all the way out into God knows freaking where. We got lost. Before we knew it, we were in the middle of pretty much nowheres, and me and my mom had to use the bathroom again. It was like really late at night. And so most places were closed. So the next truck stop wasn't for like a few miles, I think it was. I don't know, but like we could not find a place to go to the bathroom and stuff like that. And I was just like at the point where I was like, do you know what, Mom? Just pull the fuck over and let me go to the bathroom on the side of the road. And my mom like refused to. She's like, if a cop goes by or somebody goes by and they call the cops, I'm like, by time the cops get here, we will be gone. Like, just pull the fuck over. And she, like, refused. So we were both trying so hard to not use the bathroom. And I have a weak bladder. Even though I have a weak bladder, I wear, like, these things that are called liners. So if you do accidentally pee yourself, then it catches anything. So I'm not constantly pissing myself. But my mom refused to pull over to let me go to the bathroom on the side of the road because we were like in this dark area. Like it was completely black. So all she had to do was pull over. I got out of the car, squat, pee, get in the car and go. But no, she refused. But my mom, she also has a weak bladder because of her age. She's not that old, but she is up there in age, and because when you have children, beautiful children, it makes your bladder weak. And so she had 5 children. Her bladder is weak AF, so she has to use the bathroom like immediately like I do, so she refused to pull over. Luckily, I did in the video said that I packed an overnight bag, so did my mom. So we had clean clothes to change into and stuff like that, so that's what she did. Got all cleaned up, and then we went back out to the car, started driving for the first time going to New York City, and I said that I would never go back because it was the worst experience I've ever had. Because we almost got into many car accidents, almost died, and then finding no fucking bathrooms anywheres and people freaking closing. Like a McDonald's, all McDonald's. I'm sorry, but all fucking McDonald's should be 24 fucking 7 open. I'm sorry, people. But all McDonald's should do that. Because every McDonald's we stopped at, they were fucking closed. And it was ridiculous. That's the story of when I went to New York with my mom. It was a fun trip. We had a blast. It was just the coming, like, driving in, almost dying a million times over. And so like that was not the best. And then coming home was a freaking nightmare with the whole bathroom situation. Like, ugh. I just wish that my mom just listened to me and pulled over and let us go to the bathroom on the side of the road. But no. The second time I went to New York City was when I went with my college. I was in graphic design, and we went to New York City for a trip. They always take a trip, and I think it was always to New York City or it was always to something else. They always took a trip. So they took a trip down to New York City, and I went with them because I really wanted to go, and I wanted to see if it was going to be a different experience or the same like my mom. The whole entire time down, I slept, and then we got off the bus, just walked like all over the place. But I didn't walk. I was in a wheelchair, and I had a nice guy who pushed me around the whole entire time. I was there because I can do it myself, but like it was just so tiring to push yourself all the time. So this nice guy pushed me around. So we were at a train station for a while. I had a cookie, and it was like pretzel cookie or something like that. And I'm like, I never had one of those. I might as well try it. I liked it, but I didn't like it because I don't like I like coffee, but I don't like the strong taste of coffee. So I was eating it, and I'm like, I don't like this, but it was an expensive cookie. It was one fucking cookie, but it was an expensive cookie, okay? So I ate that bitch even though I wanted to gag or throw it up. It was a coffee cookie, so I was wired for the rest of the day because it was coffee. We spent time in the train station, and I found it very interesting, the train station, because it was like flat modern day slash set in the past, and I thought it was the freaking coolest freaking thing. So you're stepping back in time while still staying in the present. And it was so interesting. So we went down to Times Square. They were getting things down in Times Square ready for New Year's. So both of these trips were in 2016, but not in the same month. They were spread out. I think they were a couple of months apart. So my Dan and Phil one was in May 2016. And then my New York trip with my college was in November of 2016, and they were setting up the New Year's party already in November. And I was shocked because when we got into Times Square and I saw all the construction and stuff like that was going on, I asked my teacher, I'm like, what are they doing? She's like, oh, they're setting up the New Year's party. I'm like, but it's still early in November. And she's like, yeah, they take all November to set up the New Year's party and all the way up to December. And I'm like, what? So it takes up to 2 freaking months pretty much for them to set up the New Year's party down in New York City. I did not know about the New York trip until the end of October to go down to New York with my college until much later on. So I didn't even know about it, and I, of course, declared back in May I would never go down to New York City ever again. And then a few months later, I found out that we're going on a trip in college, and I was all excited, and then they said it was New York, and I'm like, I declared that I would never go back, but looks like I'm going back. But this trip was completely different than the one down when I went with my mom, because we didn't drive all the way around. We walked everywhere. So it was like so much better. So yeah, if you want to go to New York City, drive down, but do not go into the city with your car. Park at a bus station, get a bus, have the bus drop you into the city, and walk everywhere. Do not drive everywhere. Oh yeah, and we also wanted to go eat into restaurants, but every time we went to go to a restaurant to eat there, we had to ask them if they were accessible. Because everywhere in New York City, you have to walk down freaking stairs, and not many places were accessible to wheelchairs. We had to go to different places until we finally found a place. They're like, oh yeah, we're accessible. And they took this board out and laid it down over the stairs, and then they brought me into the place. So that's how they became accessible for people in wheelchairs. They just had this board that they set down, and you just go down or up it and out or in. So yeah, both experience to New York City were completely different. Moving on to the Philly trip. Oh my god, I loved Philly. It was so much fun. I want to go there again. I absolutely love it. I have pictures of me sitting in front of the iHeart Philly or something like that. Is it iHeart Philly or Phil? I don't know. If I could find the picture, I will pop it up right here so you guys can see it. I took a picture of that. Like I said, I don't think I made a video talking about it, and I wish I did when I did it, but I was like, oh, I'll do it, and then I kept not doing it, and then eventually I forgot about doing the freaking video about it. But yeah, so we went down to Philly. We went to the jail down in Philly. It was like, it was a jail that was closed down, but it was built a long time ago. I don't know exactly how long ago. I can't remember. I was going to say a number, but I know I'll probably be wrong. But it was built a long time ago and shut down, and you can go on a tour. You go around with headphones on and you stand in front of a thing, and it'll register in the little box thing what you're standing in front of, and it'll tell you like how many prisoners were kept there, what happened with the prisoners, how many escapes they had, who successfully escaped. A lot of prisoners died being so full that they didn't know where to put the prisoners, so a lot of the prisoners were put in like other jail cells that weren't really properly suited to hold prisoners, and they sometimes held like 10 to 15 prisoners. And then they had this one area where you can go in and you could sit in a chair and listen to this one thing. This guy, he was a serial killer, and he went on a spree, and each person that he had killed was hung up on the ceiling, so you can look up and see all his victims hanging from the ceiling by pictures of them. Also have hauntings because the building is so old and so many people died there that it is actually haunted. And one time I was in this one section of this jail cell and I was completely alone. So I was sitting there listening to this guy talk, and what I thought I saw, I'm pretty sure I saw, was a ghost go from one door over to another door and then disappear. So I took out my phone and started snapping pictures, even though the thing was gone. So I snapped a few pictures in hopes that I would like maybe catch something. Didn't catch anything. Yeah, it was my first time seeing a shadow. Sadly, I did not catch it on camera. And then after that, we went to a museum in Philly. And then after that, which the one that was down in Philly was all about royalty, I feel like, because it was I think a lot of the stuff there was like kind of royalty kind of stuff. But yeah, so there you have it. We went to a jail cell, then we went to a museum. We walked around the museum for a bit, and then we came home. I do want to go back to Philly and do the tour. Like, I want to go do both the tours, do the ghost tour and the tour of listening to all the things on the thing, because I really found those interesting. So I do want to go back and listen to those things and then do the ghost tour because I'm super interested about that. Asked why they didn't do an overnight trip because we were so down to do the ghost tour. My teacher said that we can't really do a overnight tour, so that's why we didn't do an overnight tour, because the college is afraid that someone will get lost or whatever, something will happen. So if something happens to us, obviously it's going to reflect badly on the college. So, and if it reflects badly, then they'll have to stop doing trips that they take. So I kind of understand it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, ring that bell if you want to see more videos from me, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you beautiful night wolves in the next video. Goodbye. Don't you know that you're beautiful?